After studying retirement for many years, I have noticed something that almost nobody talks about openly. The financial mistakes people make in retirement are not usually about money. They're about decisions made years before retirement that seemed reasonable at the time, but look completely different in hindsight.
Today, I am sharing the 7 regrets I hear most often from retirees. People who are 65, 70, 75, reflecting on what they wish they had done differently. Not to make you feel bad about anything you have already done, but because every single one of these regrets has a window to address it right now if you are still approaching retirement.
This video is for 2 groups of people. Group 1, people who are 55 to 65 and still have time to avoid these regrets entirely. Group 2, people who are 65 to 75 and want to understand which of these regrets can still be partially addressed. Almost all of them have at least a partial fix even after retirement begins. One more thing before we begin. These are not failures. They are the natural result of navigating a retirement system that is genuinely complicated, constantly changing, and almost never taught anywhere. The people who avoided these regrets were not smarter. They were simply better informed earlier. Regret number 1, claiming Social Security too early. This is the most common regret I hear from retirees by a significant margin. The phrase I hear over and over, "I did not realize the monthly difference would be so large," or "I did not realize how long I was actually going to live." The math most people did not run. Someone who claimed Social Security at 62 instead of waiting to 70 may have sacrificed $300,000 to $600,000 in total lifetime income over a 25-year retirement. That is not a rounding error. That is the difference between financial comfort and financial stress in the final decade of life. The avoidance move if you are still pre-retirement. Do not make the claiming decision out of fear or habit. Run the actual math at ssa.gov. Model the break-even age. If you are married, model the survivor benefit. Give this decision the same attention you would give a major purchase, because it is worth far more. The partial fix if you have already claimed early. It is generally not reversible after 12 months. But if your spouse has not yet claimed, the higher earner delaying, even if you claimed early, still protects the survivor benefit. And if you are working part-time, consider whether suspending your benefit temporarily makes sense to let it grow. Regret number 2, not planning specifically for healthcare costs. This is the expense that blindsides retirees more than any other. People plan for housing, food, and travel. Almost nobody builds a specific healthcare budget and then discovers that healthcare becomes their largest single expense by their mid-70s.
The numbers that shock retirees. A 65-year-old couple retiring today will spend an estimated $300,000 or more on healthcare costs over their retirement, not covered by Medicare. That includes premiums, deductibles, copays, dental, vision, hearing, and long-term care. Medicare covers approximately 60% of healthcare costs. The other 40% is yours. The avoidance move. Add a dedicated healthcare line to your retirement budget right now. Estimate $12,000 to $15,000 per year per person for all healthcare costs, including premiums. For pre-Medicare years, budget $18,000 to $24,000 per year per person for private insurance. These are conservative estimates. Reality is often higher. The partial fix if you are already retired. Review your Medicare plan every year during open enrollment in October and November. Most retirees never switch plans after they first enroll, but drug formularies change, premiums change, and the plan that was best 5 years ago may be costing you $2,000 more per year than necessary. Regret number 3, not doing Roth conversions during the low-income window before Social Security and RMDs began. This is the regret I hear from people in their early 70s who are now forced to take large RMDs they do not need, paying taxes at higher rates than they would have paid a decade earlier. What the regret sounds like in practice. I had 8 years between retirement at 63 and Social Security at 70. My income was the lowest it had been in 30 years. I could have converted $30,000 to $40,000 per year to Roth at 12%. I did not know that was possible. Now my RMDs push me into the 22% bracket every single year. The avoidance move. If you have not started Social Security and you are between 60 and 72, calculate your Roth conversion space right now. Subtract your current AGI from the top of your lowest available tax bracket. That is how much you can convert this year at the lowest possible rate. Do this calculation every October. The partial fix if RMDs have already started. Qualified charitable distributions can reduce RMDs without triggering taxable income. If you give to charity and you are 70 and a half or older, direct your IRA distributions to the charity as a QCD instead of writing a personal check after receiving the distribution. The tax savings are identical, but the QCD does not appear in your AGI. Regret number 4. Keeping a house that was too large, too expensive to maintain, and too isolating for years longer than made sense. This is the emotional regret more than the financial one, but the financial consequences are real and compound quietly over time. The financial reality of keeping too large a home in retirement. The average American family spends $15,000 to $20,000 per year maintaining a home. Property taxes, insurance, repairs, utilities. A smaller home might cost $6,000 to $8,000 per year. The difference of $10,000 per year invested for 15 years at 6% becomes $232,000. The avoidance move. Ask yourself honestly, is this home serving me or am I serving this home? Are you spending weekends on maintenance instead of living? Are your children nearby or far away? Is your social community near your home or have you drifted away from it? Answer these questions honestly before assuming staying is the right choice. The partial fix. You do not have to sell to extract value. Renting a room can generate $800 to $1,200 per month in income with minimal disruption. An ADU, accessory dwelling unit, in a garage or basement can generate $1,500 to $2,000 per month. These options let you stay in your home while converting idle space into retirement income. Regret number 5. Never having a written retirement income plan. This is the regret that enables all the other regrets. People who had a written plan, even a simple one-page document, made better decisions across every other category. People who managed by feel made worse decisions across every category. What the regret sounds like. We never sat down and wrote anything out. We just assumed it would all work out. We took money when we needed it, from whatever account was easiest. We claimed Social Security when it seemed like the right time. Looking back, we made a dozen decisions that cost us money without ever realizing we were making them. The avoidance move. Write your retirement income plan this month. It does not need to be complicated. One page covering 4 things: your guaranteed income sources and amounts, your withdrawal sequence from your accounts, your target taxable income for each year, and your spending plan with a 3% annual inflation increase. The partial fix. If you are already retired without a plan, it is not too late to write one. In fact, writing a retirement income plan after you have already retired and can see your actual spending patterns is in some ways easier than writing one before. Start with last year's tax return and last year's bank statements. Reality is your best input. Regret number 6. Underestimating inflation. This regret arrives quietly and late. Retirees in their early years feel fine. The budget works. Then, somewhere in their mid-70s, they realize that everything costs significantly more than it did 10 years ago, and their fixed income sources have not kept pace. The specific numbers that reveal the problem. At 3% annual inflation, $5,000 per month in spending today requires $6,720 per month in 10 years to buy the same things. At 4%, which is closer to healthcare-specific inflation, $5,000 becomes $7,400 in 10 years. A retirement budget that does not grow is a retirement budget that shrinks in real terms. The avoidance move? Build a 3% annual spending increase into your retirement plan from day one, and keep at least 40 to 50% of your investable assets in growth investments, stocks or stock funds, throughout retirement. A portfolio that is entirely in bonds or cash will lose purchasing power over a 25-year retirement. That is not safety. That is a slow loss. The partial fix for current retirees: review what percentage of your total retirement income is inflation adjusted. Social Security is inflation adjusted through COLA. A pension with a COLA rider is inflation adjusted. Everything else, fixed annuity payments, bond interest, CD interest, is fixed. If more than 60% of your income is fixed,
your inflation exposure is significant.
Regret number 7, not planning for long-term care. This is the regret that creates the most financial devastation and the most family stress. One spouse needs extended care. The other has to manage both the emotional burden and the financial drain simultaneously. It is the retirement scenario most people refuse to discuss until it happens. The numbers that make planning unavoidable. The average cost of a private nursing home room in the United States in 2026 is approximately $110,000 per year. Assisted living averages $60,000 per year. Home health aid at 44 hours per week averages $80,000 per year. Medicare covers very little of this. Medicaid requires near destitution before it helps. The avoidance move. Have the long-term care conversation before you need to. 3 options worth evaluating. Traditional long-term care insurance, which is expensive but comprehensive. Hybrid life insurance with a long-term care rider, which gives you a death benefit if you never use the care. And self-insuring with a dedicated pool of assets set aside specifically for care costs. The partial fix if you have not yet planned. It is not too late if you are in your 60s. Long-term care insurance premiums increase significantly with age and health status. The best time to purchase was in your 50s. The second best time is today. If you are already in your 70s, self-insurance or Medicaid planning with an elder law attorney may be more appropriate. Here is what all 7 regrets have in common. None of them were made out of laziness or carelessness. They were made because the decisions were not framed as decisions. They arrived as defaults, the path of least resistance, and were allowed to remain as defaults without anyone ever stopping to ask, is this actually the right choice for us? The people who avoided these regrets were not financial experts. They were people who slowed down and asked, what is actually happening here? What are my choices? And what does the math say? That is all. The information in this series exists to help you ask those questions and answer them before the defaults make the choices for you. Your action checklist based on the 7 regrets. For each one question to answer this week. Regret 1. Have you looked up your Social Security benefit at ssa.gov for ages 62, 67, and 70 and done a break-even calculation? If not, do this before making any claiming decision. Regret 2. Does your retirement budget include a specific line for healthcare costs? At least $12,000 per year per person, separate from other expenses. If not, open your budget spreadsheet and add it. Regret 3. Do you know your current Roth conversion space? The difference between your projected AGI and your tax bracket ceiling? If not, calculate it this October. Regret 4. Is your home serving you, or are you serving your home? Write down your honest answer. Then decide whether to stay, downsize, or generate income from the space. Regret 5. Do you have a written retirement income plan covering guaranteed income, withdrawal sequence, tax targets, and inflation-adjusted spending? If not, this is your most important retirement project for the next 30 days. Regret 6. Does your retirement income plan include a 3% annual spending increase? And does your portfolio include at least 40% in growth assets? If no to either, make that change this month. Regret 7. Have you evaluated at least one long-term care option, insurance, hybrid, or self-insure, and made a conscious decision about which path you are on? If not, have this conversation with your spouse and your financial advisor this quarter. If this video helped you see your retirement planning differently, please share it with one person you know who is approaching retirement. The regrets I described today are avoidable, but only if someone shows you what to look for before it is too late. Drop a comment. Which of the 7 regrets resonates most with something you are currently working to avoid or address? Number 1 through 7. Your answer helps me understand where to go deeper in future videos. Subscribe to Calm Money Retirement. Every Tuesday and Friday, one retirement topic explained slowly and honestly. Next Tuesday, Secure 2.0 and the new 401k rules that changed in 2025 and 2026. If you have a 401k and have not heard what changed, you may be leaving money on the table. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute personalized financial, tax, legal, or insurance advice.
Individual retirement situations vary significantly. Long-term care costs, Medicare coverage, tax rates, and Social Security rules change over time. Please consult a licensed fee-only financial advisor, CPA, or elder law attorney for your specific situation. Calm Money Retirement is not a registered investment advisor.